Well, good morning, everybody, and I hope everybody is ready for our coffee chat this morning. I'm going to bring Virginia on, and good morning.
Good morning. I've been up early, done a lot of things.
She just likes getting up early.
I'm like loads of laundry. I've done my bed. I cleaned up my bed, had a shower, had my hair done. I mean, it was like this morning, but I've done something that I think it has empowered me because I gave up all my medications, my medications. I've only had two left. And this morning, it was really about 3 or 4 days ago. It was like, get over it. And I'm going to have to go to cardiologist next month and I'm going to have a blood test ran and then we'll see what that does because I gave up those pills. And that's a second time. The first heart attack in 1998, I had 9 pills. And 3 weeks after I had the heart attack, I threw them all away. And I haven't had a doctor for almost 27 years. Then I had the things that started happening coming into my body. And you know what I noticed though, Jeremy, is because I lost confidence in myself. And that's when
Mm,
disease kind of slides in and you get weaker.
right.
Um, now, and then I had that podcast from Vegas, and he was a Dolus priest, and he could see me. I mean, he could see my energy, he could see everything around me. And he said, "Oh my God, how long have you been doing this?" I said, "For 25 years." And he got it. I mean, he could see me. He could see the light around me. He said, "Your heart chakra," or I don't even think he called it chakra. He said, "Your heart is illuminating so deeply that you're changing the world." And I looked right at him and I said, "I think we're changing the world." And he started laughing because I think that's exactly what it is. It's frequency. So
Yep.
that's why I let my medication, and I'm not telling people to do that. I want you to know you got to find that within yourself.
Yeah,
I can't
absolutely.
tell you how to do that. But when I get that message, I'm doing it and I'm not afraid. But if you've got any fear of that, you keep that until you can find another way or talk to your doctor. I mean, my doctor pretty much told me the beta, whatever it was, that, beta blocker. I said, when he told me, he said, "You'll be on this for the rest of your life." And I thought, no, no, I won't. Heck, no, I won't. Because I can feel the difference in the frequency of that medication.
Yeah, and I think too, that those kind of things are like personal choice too.
Yeah,
You
it
know, want to
is.
take them. It's like those are one of those things where we have to follow what we know is right for us.
Yeah, you
So,
got to follow that, but you can't follow somebody else. If you're following somebody else, you're not following your higher self. And no, but I've been feeling it. I told you about 6 or 7 months ago, the energy came back into my body, and I felt it, and I knew that it was time. And then with everything that's happened in us for the last 4 or 5 months, almost 5 months, look what's happened to us. I mean, it came rolling into us. And I mean, gosh, but I can see now with all the podcasts that we're doing and the things that we're doing, we're changing the world. And
you
I
know,
don't have to do anything.
I think we should talk about that because there was a letter that came in, and apparently the governor of the state of Texas wrote the federal government with the intention for Texas to secede from the nation
Yeah.
because he feels that President Biden is not blah, 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 whatever. You know, it doesn't really matter. What does matter is that fear, um, is something that can really affect our entire world and it disempowers us. And so, there's a heck of a lot going on in the world. And honestly, I think it's going to get a lot more intensified. That's just my best way to put it. And I think the only way you can do that is to go within and look at those things that cause fear. And so people will say to me, well, we have to be practical. And I'm like, well, I get that part, but if you understand your inner world, then you'll be able to listen to your inner world enough to be able to say, oh, maybe I need to go somewhere else, or I need to do something else, or I need to be in a different direction. I was talking to somebody last night and I said, if you go within yourself, then you're going to know how to be and where to be and how to say it.
Hmm.
So it's one of those things where you just really have to do your inner work. So if there's stressful times going on, if things are not going well in your life, you go within. You start asking that inner world, hey, what should I do next? Where is it that I'm blocked and not allowing
Because,
my prosperity or flow to come in? So
but in Texas, you need to go back and look at the history of Texas.
yeah, yeah,
Texas was a country
it
before it
was.
was a state.
Yep,
And
it was.
so there's a lot of people that are and that is the past. Historic is past. So there's a lot of people in Texas that is very much in the past, and in the past of the fear of what's going to happen from the past. So this is where you need to really address it. They need to get in the present moment, and they need to get really clear, because it might be what they're supposed to do with the Texas, but they need to have everybody on the same frequency.
Hmm.
And that's why you wouldn't have to go through all of the things you're going through. If everybody's really in their frequency of a higher consciousness of change, that can be changed by frequency. But
Well, and you're
I'm
also
not
talking
all
about
about this war thing. I
you're
disagree with
also
that.
talking about divine timing and divine order. So it's like one of those things where if you like give me an example, if you something doesn't go well and your your life that you're having right now starts to end and you're going, maybe it's because divine timing and divine order is pushing you in another direction. And somebody said this to me the other day. They said, um, the universal plan for you, God, whatever you want to refer to it as, when things are falling apart here, it may be because it knows, God knows that, hey, by the way, I know it sucks right now, but it's because I'm taking you in a direction that is going to
Right.
make you a heck of a lot happier. And even with Texas, like this could be happening, and people say, well, this is the end of the world, but it could be
No.
pushing us in a direction, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. You just keep on praying for the highest and best good. And then you act on
And
the
stay
things that you
present.
feel
Stay
internally
present.
motivated.
Yeah.
Stay present in the now of the moment. And that's what we were talking about the other day when we were saying that most people spend most of their life too far in the present and too far in the past, like you were mentioning, and saying, "Oh, war or whatever, we had a civil war or whatever," those kind of things. I don't want to have to go through these things. And so
No.
of course, nobody wants to go through that. However, you'll live in the now of the moment to experience what you need to at that time. So, and you know you'll always be taken care of no matter what it is.
You got to know
So,
that, though. That's got to be a knowingness. It's not like a belief. You got to know that you're safe. Everything's going to happen. You just got to learn how to get out of your own way. So
well, and one of those things, that's one of the things that Virginia and I do too, is we help people with those things. I mean, I remember when there was a time when I had lost my job and I was calling her and I was doing pretty good, but there was just days where it was the interesting part. It was like an energy that would just come up, and it wasn't just surface fear. Like it was a deep energy, and it would just shake through my body. And she had reminded me of something that she'd said years ago. It's like, right now, I have food. Right now, I have a place to live. And my mind was going into this. I have a $2,000 a month rent payment, and I upgraded my life. And I didn't plan on being laid off. We never know the future. We only know the now of the moment. But she also watched me manifest that apartment and literally just walk right into it. The furniture laid out, the colors laid out. She saw it. It was absolutely beautiful. And it was one of those things where that was divinely led for me to go through that experience, because then I had to remind myself of
but
right
don't
now I
you
have
also with that, you had to look at it that you were worthy with that apartment.
those what now?
Remember that you had to look at the worthiness. You were worthy. You were worthy of that apartment.
Yeah, and
You
remember when I
didn't
also
think you called me up and said, "That's really high. I just don't." I said, "You're worth it. I want to go to your house. I want it to be nice."
and she did, and so it's one of those things too. Remember when I walked around when I was going through all that, and I started getting to the furniture. If you're not meant to be in my life, then I let you go.
I
And
did
what
this.
does that what does that do? People say, "Well, I can't let it go." I said, "Well, what letting go actually builds power and empowerment in you to let the energy go."
Let it work itself through, and you get out of the way.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if you're holding on to energy, it's going to be much worse on you, because it's like a rubber band. It snaps back when you're holding, and then something stops it and snaps it, and it hits you backwards. So yeah, this energy is energy, and no matter what anybody understands, we're not living in the solidity of who we are. We're living in the frequency of what we are. And the more people start recognizing the energy of where they are within, they're going to understand what's going on the outside, because you're creating the outside.
Right.
And that's what people, like I said, since I've been doing this, I think this is also why I'm doing, not going back to the medications, is because since I've worked with all these people, and there's a lot of people out there, it's brought me back into my empowerment of my energy field, of my soul, my, spark. And I mean, to get up this morning for, at 4:30, quarter to 5, have everything done, had even mopped my floors and everything, you just, because I'm happy. I'm more based and in peace, and I can do more work.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I was talking to my friend Colette last night on the way home, and she said, anything worth having in this world, and you've never gone in that direction, like you've wanted it, but you haven't gone in that direction. She goes, it's gonna be hard at first. And
Yeah,
it's because you are starting to assimilate into that area. And she was specifically talking about, being an entrepreneur, but she was like, it doesn't even matter what that is. She goes, if it's somebody you care about, a friendship, a relationship, a lover, and whatever, anything work going in that direction, it's going to be hard. And if you put in the work, most of the time, if it's meant to be, that's the key word there. If it's meant to be, it will work out and it'll be very enriched. And when I start looking at even some of my friendships that I worked really hard on, and I mean, I look at those friendships now and I think, wow, we really have such a deep friendship. And even you and I, we we never really had any issues, but we've done a lot of deep work together. And so now it's just like I know what you're feeling a lot of times when it's happening, and I'll be like, oh, I know what's going on. I've been there, I've watched it, and it's and even Damien, I'll know what's going to happen, and I'll be like, okay. But even like, it's just what you kind of move with each other and flow with each
it
other.
is a
And
flow
so,
with each
yeah,
other.
yeah,
Even with strangers, when you meet somebody in a flow, you already know that they're a soul family member, or it's energetically being, bringing forward. Um, and that's the fun part. But also, when somebody is not connecting with you, and it's time for you to let them go. I mean, and it's not being mean. What you're doing is you're letting go. So if it's supposed to come back in a divine, energy, then you're going to take all of that off that you've been holding, that resistance in your relationship with that, come in much smoother. And if it's not supposed to be there in you, then it'll leave,
yeah,
and you won't meet, you won't miss it, or it won't miss, they won't miss you, because that's how God works, or the supernatural, or the energy, whatever you want to call it and label it. That's really true. If you learn to get into the flow of the energy, you'll never be misdirected or afraid. It's because you're living in the now, the moment too. So it's a
yeah.
big deal. This is deeper than most people even understand.
Yeah, and I think what one of the things when we started off with the fears like take you out of the now of the moment. But even like even certain kind of pleasures, they take you out of the now of the
Yeah.
moment too. And what I was practicing with the other day is music. I was listening to music because music brings a lot of emotions out of you. And good morning, Latrice. How are you? And so Um, and so, I was just practicing, music can take you out. So it can take you out in a moment when you were like, what happened to me the other day is I was listening to this song and it took me back to this club called the Pleasure Dome. It was basically the old tracks here in Ybor City. And so I was like, I remember I was wearing these platform shoes and these jeans and I was dancing and all that kind of stuff. And what I did is that because it took me to that memory in the past. And so, in a sense, that takes you out of your body. But what I did is I took a deep breath in and I was like, I wanted to bring in that feeling of freedom into my body, into this now in the moment. And it's like, because I could still experience that feeling right now. And so I thought, well, that's the difference is if I put my feelings and that energy of joy back there and not right now, then it's taking me out of the now of the moment. So I just thought, well, what if I just sat here and danced in my chair in my desk? I'm not 22 years old like I was back then, but I could still have that moment. It's funny because I went to New Orleans in April of last year, and my friend Jonathan and I danced so hard that my feet and my ankles hurt when we came back home. But I was in that moment, and those are things that you have to take that energy of feeling good right now, um, or from the past, and bring it in the now, so you can have an experience in the now, of the moment. So when you're having a hard time, bring in that energies, so that energy of frequency goes out from you, and it can really change the dynamics of your life around you. At least it'll make you feel better in the moment.
Well, music does bother me because
Yeah.
I almost got a ticket because I turned on one of my old high school, songs. And I just came out of a barn of 20 horses and working with them. So I'm in a different state already. And I remember I got in my car and I had an MDX and it was very strong. It was very fast. I just kicked that on and I put that music on. And the next thing I was somewhere else in high school and I was dancing. And here it goes. There was a cop. Right, I went right by him. And I was at that time going over 74 miles an hour. And it was at a 55-mile, stop there. And I mean, I was just shocked. And did not have a lot of money at the time. And I was getting ready to go to North Carolina. And I had to get myself back in. And I remember going toward the universe saying, I can't afford this. I mean, then that would have been, I could have gone to jail for that kind of, speed. And so all I heard, and this is the truth, I heard, tell the truth. And I thought, tell the truth. Now, I was going to go and tell that guy, cop that was going to come over to probably either arrest me or give me a ticket. And I was going to say something else, but my higher self kept saying, tell him the truth. And I remember I turned around to him. He said, ma'am, do you know you're driving in a 55 miles an hour and you were driving 74 miles? I looked shocked. First of all, I was just knocked backwards that I was even that fast, And I remember I looked at him and I looked at him again and I just took a deep breath and I said, I am guilty. I handed my, license. I said, it's my fault. I did it. I am sorry. I get it. And he just stared at me for about a few seconds. Then he went back to his car and I told my higher self, I said, I cannot afford this ticket. Now I was looking at probably $150 easy. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't have that kind of money. And I was going through, and I said, stop, 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 stop. I said, get grounded, get grounded. I'm talking to I said, get grounded. I said, you can fix this, fix this. And I remember going, fix this. And the police officer came in and he gave me a citation. He said, I looked at your record and you haven't had a speeding ticket for 30 years. And he said, that's pretty amazing. And then he said, and you told me the truth. Okay. When I went the next week to my nail girl who knew everything was going on, because I knew this was a new cop in my town. And I told her who he was. And she went, do you know who he is? And I thought, no, who was he? Oh my God. He came from another town, but they fired him because he gave too many tickets. And you know why I was doing it? Because he told me, he said, he was shocked that I told the truth. That's why the higher self said, tell the truth, tell the truth. And it kept saying, just tell your truth. And when I did it, he was so shocked that he didn't give me a ticket.
Yeah.
And that is the truth. I've got his ticket. I got his citation right there. And I used to talk about it on stage. This is how it works. But you've got to listen to that smaller voice. It wasn't my voice. This was not my, ego voice or anything. It was very clear. And I was fussing with it. You fix this. You fix this. And it got fixed, didn't it?
Well, and I think too that has to do with exactly, you listened, and a lot of times we don't listen to this voice, and then some people say, well, I don't know how to listen to that voice. Well, it's the voice that's always talking to you in your head.
Yeah.
And so there's two voices, like there's and what, it's the old story, which wolf are you going to feed?
Mm-hmm.
And so the one voice is telling you, like I had the other day, I had when I was having a moment, I call it my freak out session, and I went in to take a shower, and I got calm, and I heard, go do this. And I did. I went in and I did this email that I was told to do, and then I got a response back, and it was exactly,
What you
um,
need.
what do I need, what I needed, and it's one of those things where you have to listen to that inner voice. And some of the things that I do for Virginia and I too is I've been actually going through YouTube and saying, looking at like, should I submit her to this show and to this show? And so then I actually heard on one, no, not her, you. And I go, okay. So, but a couple days later, I got a response back. All right, well, I got a yes, I definitely want you to the show. And then my inner voice said, go fill out the form for her now. And I was like, so it's going to be where she's on. Um, she's literally on in two weeks after me. So it's one of those things where you have to just kind of follow. And it's not about are you going to go. It's about are you going to go down the right path because that
It's
order
the
could
timing.
be.
You knew the timing. You felt there
Yeah,
was some because you had to come first.
yeah,
And I had to come second. This is where you and I understand timing. You and I know that sometimes you'll lean forward into that and I'll lean back, but we know how to ebb and flow with each other. That's
yeah,
exactly you. It's almost like when we're working in the webinars or when the small, you know when to move in, I know when to move, and we never overstep each other. It's a
yeah,
real, it's a beautiful dance. And if
yeah.
you're working with somebody and that's the kind of dance you're doing, that's the most amazing thing in the world because that's kind of like what that guy did, the one that was in Vegas. There was a dance, and he is a Dolus priest, and he could feel just like you, Jeremy. He knew how to flow with me. It was pretty
Mhm,
amazing.
yeah. Real
So
quick,
that's what it is.
I just want to jump in real quick before because we're got a few more minutes left, and I like to jump on our little uh, divine inheritance, which I actually love the name of our project together.
Hmm.
It was mydivineinheritance.org. Some of you have seen this, some of you haven't. Right here, if you click here on the website, it takes you to the YouTube channel where this show is broadcast every Friday at 9:30. Also, there's a free webinar series in here. There's stuff on the natural laws of the universe. There's also 5 webinars that we recorded on Virginia's couch, our monthly membership, and meditation on here that Virginia leads us through. And we've got our next Soulful group on January 31st at 7 p.m. Eastern. So, and
That's a
then just,
big one. That's going to be a big one.
oh, yeah, we do a lot of cool things. We do
Yeah,
have
we do.
private sessions, and that has our whole schedule on it when you click on these. Plus, I've been updating some of these interviews on here. And then there's a whole bunch of resources here at the bottom of the website that literally have different questions and books, online books, and everything that we have. And so I just like to show that here because it gives people. Um, I'll start calling them. Oh wow, hold on. I'll start calling. Well, oh, Latrice said I'm getting goosebumps, and she says I'll start calling them angel bumps instead of goosebumps. I love that.
Oh, good. I like that. Angel
Love it.
bumps. There you go.
Love it. Yeah, so it's my divineinheritance.org, which is in the description of the show. So yeah, so it's been an interesting month. And I think that we're getting ready to go. It was pretty slow for a couple months, and what I'm grateful for is that was time for me to rest. I know Virginia and I both were exhausted by the time December came along, but now it's starting to pick
Was
up.
I was glad for 2 weeks. I didn't have to do anything. I stayed in the bed.
She told me, she goes, after this event that we have, I'm not doing anything. I'm not answering my phone. I'm not doing
I
anything
did.
except for a couple people.
Hmm.
And so it was really nice. And I did that too. It was for this couple weeks in December. I just kind of laid around and watched Netflix because we were literally on the go nonstop.
I
Um,
mean, I look back at that. That's unbelievable what we did and how many people we cleared through that on my, computer in yours. So uh, it's it's amazing. And then we're
yeah,
still going strong. I mean, I'm still on podcast. You're on podcast. We're really raising this frequency because I truly believe this is it for us. That this is when we're getting an opportunity not to miss it, and I'm not going to miss it.
except that I have to learn time zones better because the other day I called her. I said, "All right, we have our coffee chat or a meeting for our members on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern." I said, but I'm on this huge summit, online summit at 4:30. And then I was like, so I'm gonna get you on. I'm gonna hang out with you guys for a little bit, and then I have to jump on the. Well, that's at 7:30 because it's 4:30 Pacific time, and I was like, so yeah, so
I mean, when you did that, I thought he doesn't normally make those kind of errors on time. So
well,
I
it
just
wasn't even.
I thought, that's weird. But I just went on with it. I thought I'll handle it. I'll be able to handle it, whatever it
Well,
is.
what it was is that they didn't even give me the time I was speaking until like Wednesday of this
Late.
week, and so it's like, and I understand, coordinating events is one of the hardest things in the world. You've got to get, I with the cruises, I remember we would put people because we started at 8 o'clock in the morning, and people would be upset that we put them at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I said, well, somebody has to start at 8 o'clock in the morning. So
See, I would love our 8 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So Daniela had 8 o'clock in the morning on the first day, and she loved it. And I had a room full of people, but they think that nobody's going to be up at that time in the morning, and I'm like, I've just learned that I'm on when I'm supposed to be on.
Yeah, and
So
the perfect people will come in divinely.
yeah,
No matter if they weren't even early morning people. I've seen that before. Said, I can't believe I'm even sitting in here with you at 8 o'clock in the morning. I usually get up about 11. I thought, well, that's because that's time. That's divine timing.
Latrice likes to get up early too. I'm not an early morning person, Latrice. I got up at 9:10 this morning,
I was
and
up at 4:30, quarter of five.
so you always know when Virginia's up because you'll see the this day that happened like 6 hours
Yeah, they'll
prior to
come
you
in.
waking.
Sometimes we'll be up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I've gotten up at 2 o'clock in the morning and did stuff and went back to bed. I like to get everything in. I mean, but I'm older and I'm wiser on a lot of things. I don't wait it out anymore. If I feel it, I get up and do it. Even if it's not what I wanted to do, I've learned how to follow through because this morning was a breeze. I knew exactly in my mind what I had to do first to do, and it went like this, boom, boom, boom. And I would not ever normally do that. But I've learned how to listen to that voice because it has a different order and it can go faster through that order if you'll listen to it and you not get involved in it.
Yeah.
We know that. I haven't worn a watch, Jeremy, for almost 26 years, and I've never been late to anything because it's done. And even if I was late, I was still at the right and perfect time because I remember I was late sometimes. Something I don't remember. It was something I was speaking, and we got lost. And so when I came flying in, I think it was in the Union. I mean, it was in Unity Church in Sarasota. And we got lost. And I came flying in and I said, I'm here, exactly where I was supposed to be. And that woman was so funny because she was getting said, I don't know what's going on with her. And I came flying in. And I think I was only about 3 minutes late, but it was a great arrival. Okay. Time to watch done.
I'm still trying to watch that.
Advice. It's finally great to find. Oh, well, I'm so glad to meet you.
Absolutely, absolutely nice. Thank you so
When you
much
see
for the.
me in my pajamas and you see who I look, there's no makeup. I mean, I threw my hair together because I had a shower. Welcome to the real world. This is who I am.
Well, we have, I think, another minute, and I just want to leave everybody with this thought. So, one of the things we've really been talking about is staying in the now of the moment and enjoying the now of the moment for right here and now. And so, we're here every week at 9:30 a.m. So, if you want to bookmark the YouTube channel or the Facebook page that you're on, that's where we're at. And so we can hang out with us, or just go to mydivineinheritance.org, and you'll see the link to the website or the YouTube channel for that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but anyways, or go sign up for our webinars, and then I'll email you updates every week of
Yeah.
the archive.
Well,
So,
and also you'll see all of us. Please come and join us. I mean, we have a good time when we're in all of the webinars or the small groups. It's fun.
absolutely. Everybody have an amazing,
Have
amazing
a
week.
great
All
weekend.
right. Thank you so much.
Uh,
And thanks for uh, thanks for watching us. So hold
yes.
on one second. I'm trying to find the old controllers here. And I'm gonna put us. Oh, thank you so much.